Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball Super Friends. I am the Jake.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Ben.
Let's just get right down to business right now. I was thinking over the weekend, top tier decks.
It's a good topic to talk about.
What are the top tier decks? And I think a lot of people are very misconstrued, but what they are and what decks should be there, should not be there. I think that we should get to talking about that today, about top tier decks in general, what you guys think about them. For me personally, I think one of the top tier decks there are extremely underrated, and I feel like it's preposterous that a lot of people are not looking at this deck and thinking that this deck is not the most competitive deck in the game right now, which is Broly. Everyone knows that I am a Broly player, which means that everything I say is 50% less legitimate, like always.
That's wild.
Am I wrong, though? Well, I think the community would say, like, everything I say would be 50% less
Broly
legitimate.
gets a lot of hate.
I don't know why. Why does it get so much hate?
I mean, it's a Broly deck, and if you played any of the previous Dragon Ball Z games, Broly was not liked very much, but he was very good, and it was very annoying to play against.
I remember when you guys tried to introduce me to the Pan Z game, and I remember facing against a Broly deck, and I was so sad afterwards.
Yeah, that was one of the only decks in that era where you could consistently lose on turn one.
I think I did lose on turn one my first time facing against. It was literally ridiculous, in my opinion. I feel like the Broly deck, I think overall, is just generally solid due to his strategy that affects all decks. It affects aggro decks, it affects control decks, it affects a lot of different decks out in the meta right now, and I feel like it's a mistake to overlook this deck. If I want to go to a tournament and win cash money, I'm bringing this. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's just like, it's just the best bet, in my opinion. It's like almost a sure thing.
That's fair and justified. I feel like you could bring one of, like, honestly, like 5 to 10 decks and probably be alright, I think. I mean, I think the meta's that diverse right now. I mean, we're just talking about 2 specific decks today, but there's so many others that
I think we're gonna follow through with it more and actually bring you guys more coverage about the top tier decks and what to look for right now. I feel like the community really needs it right now. I think that community needs sort of a direction to look. I feel like a lot of people are just hopeful about all the cards, and sometimes cards can look good in certain matchups, and the cards can do bad in certain matchups as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be a whole new ballgame when Set 2 drops.
Oh, when Set 2 drops, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be really bad.
Yeah, it's going to be a little wild.
It's going to be a little wild. Going back to the Broly thing really quick, I also feel like, we were talking about this earlier about how often that I have Broly's ring, or I have ways to interact with Broly's ring. The biggest argument is that you can't interact with Broly's ring because there's no permanent kill cards right now that have been released so far. We are expecting more of that in Set 2. A lot of field permanent cards that will have an effect on the game in total.
Hopefully.
I'm really hoping for it as well. I feel like even if they print cards that will kill or be able to get rid of Broly's ring, I feel like the deck is still consistent enough to be able either to win without it or to be able to fetch another one.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you have to have Broly's ring in some shape or form at some point in the game to convince that game's in your favor. But, I mean, there's enough searches. I mean, with the 4 Paragus, I mean, that's 4 of another Broly's ring in a sense.
Paragus doesn't feel good. It does not feel good at all. I played Paragus, I used Paragus' ability, and it feels dirty to me. It doesn't feel good.
You know when I like Paragus? When I already have Broly's ring and I know what to play for energy next turn.
Yes.
That's when I like Paragus the most.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin, right here.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna call it like it is.
What do you think, Ben? How do you feel about this?
About the Broly deck.
About the Broly deck in general. Like, what are your opinions about it? I know you played it for a little while.
I played it like once or twice. I can definitely feel like you said, you never feel behind when you're playing it because you're just constantly ripping cards out of your opponent's hand. Yeah. But if you don't have Broly's ring, it's going to be a bad time for you. I was speaking about this earlier, and I was speaking about how when it comes to Broly's ring, if they were able to print cards that were able to remove the Broly's ring from the field, it would be more devastating if you do that before I awaken. Because I wouldn't be able to attack my leader at that point. Because his ability is just super duper garbage without Broly's ring on board. You're putting yourself behind just to give your opponent a card. That seems a little preposterous to me.
You're literally minusing 1 yourself, or
just to attack. Yeah, you're neg 1ing yourself because you also have to discard. and then they take the damage, and then they take one,
Yeah.
and they one card back to their hand.
They just really recycle their hand. They get rid of junk and then add
Yeah,
a potential better card.
You're giving your opponent the ability to cycle their hand. That's something you almost never want to do.
Yeah.
That's just a bad thing to do. But I feel like people should start watching out for Broly, because Broly is a deck that can affect everything, and it's a deck that generally I feel like doesn't have any weaknesses. It's good against aggro, in my opinion. I played against aggro matchups, and it's done pretty well, especially when they give you cards early game.
See, that's super interesting for me, because when I play against Broly, if I can, I tend to go super aggressive, and that usually rewards me, because if I'm making them awaken by the time like it's turn 3 for them, because if you're running mono, you have no energy ramp. You have draw power with like go tanks and stuff eventually, but that's like when you have 5 energy.
That's powerful late game stuff, but yeah, early game does matter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if I get you down to awaken and it's turn 3 and you only have 3 energy, like, I feel pretty confident about that game.
Yeah, I think personally, I think I actually know the way to beat an aggro deck when you're a Broly player. You just have to be conservative with your life total if you're facing against an aggro deck. Because if you're conservative towards your life total, by selecting which cards can attack you and which cards should not be able to attack, or like for crit, for example, like you never let crits resolve. Never let crits hit you if you can allow it. I think being super greedy with your life total is definitely a good thing. I did definitely have some success with it, because at the end, when it came down to it, when I needed cards, I was getting cards at the late game, and it helped me scratch my way back eventually. But I think the Broly deck against Frieza's and against control decks, it's a good matchup. Definitely, it's a very good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Broly, it's one of those decks, like, everybody who plays Frieza right now, I'm not saying everybody in the world, but a lot of people are playing Crusher Ball instead of opting and playing Cold Bloodlust, which I do agree with in retrospect. But Broly is one of those decks that when they cast or summon or call, whatever we use in this game,
or evolve or anything along those lines,
they're usually discarding cards from your opponent's hand or plussing 1. So really, the Crusher Ball is not really helping out that much. You're still ripping 2 cards from their hand.
It's saving you damage. But I mean, besides that, it's not really doing much. It's the skills that are able to have an effect on the game, which are pretty powerful.
Right. There's a lot of other cards and other colors that reward you for attacking with them, like Vados or even Mecha Frieza in a sense, or just Beerus, the 7-drop Beerus. That's also one thing. And Crusher Ball does it gets around the 12-drop Whis, well, temporarily. I mean, at least it saves you 1 attack.
I mean, saves you one more attack than what you originally could have.
Yeah, I mean, you lost either way if it's on
I had
board.
a dime every. Let's not do that, shall we?
Yeah, it's too much.
I also think the Broly package is actually the best package in the game. The best evolve package. The consistency with it, I think that it's just too damn good.
It's that good.
It's that good. It's like, it's the game. That's what that is.
But Ben, what's your general strategy going against Broly? Like, what's your success
against Broly?
Yeah, how do you think you combat it?
I, like you said, just make them awaken when they don't want to, pretty much, and then I try not to let the game go past like turn 6.
Yeah, I think once they get to 6 or 7 energy, that's dangerous territory.
Yeah,
I could do multiple evolves. I could do two bio Brolys in the same turn.
Yeah, and especially if you're not playing against anything yellow, that 5-drop Go Tanks is so beautiful.
Oh,
even as early as turn 5.
Honestly, it's one of the best. Well, it's the top 5 best cards in my game. Go Tanks is really up there. You're paying 3 mana for a 25k body with double strike that nets you a card.
Yeah,
it replaces itself, and I think that efficiency is almost broken. It feels too good.
In a sense, it's a 3-drop too. In a sense,
yeah, in a sense, yeah, because you're tapping 2 energy to draw a card.
it also has evolve.
And also, you can do the Go Takes package, which I think is so funny because you're netting your opponent a card, and then you're gonna go to Awaken for 4. So you pay for that. This is on turn 4. You're paying for a 2 mana 25k double striker that nets you a card.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that situation is very rare, though, because every time I thought about it, I'm like, you know what?
He's not good.
I'm like, I'd rather just play the 5-drop and still have the 3-drop.
Which is still value, yeah. I mean, like, either way, you're still getting value off of it.
Right.
What you want,
it gives you the option.
It gives you the option, which is something that a lot of cards don't do. A lot of cards make you want to do or play a certain way.
Right.
Which is something that you see a lot of prevalent, especially in yellow.
Yeah, for sure.
So I picked Broly. What do you guys think are the top tier decks, in your opinion?
Well, we were just going to talk about 2 today. So
So what? So in your opinion, so what will be yours? Beerus? Pretty
yeah,
much.
we could talk about beers.
Oh God.
I
Look what I haven't done.
I know like there's gonna be a lot of hate for this, but Beers is real. I'm sorry. Like, if you guys don't know about the Whis spam, shout out to my boy Josh Cruz.
Oh God.
Shout out to my boy Ben over here testing that.
Who played
recently.
2 Whis back to back like an animal.
Yeah, remember, you guys weren't there, but when I was at Jordan's house, shout out to my man Jordan too, by the way. He literally, he had the Whis, and then he had 3 other Whis in hand, so just the troll, he literally played all 4 Whis and then used Beerus's leader's power to win the game. It wasn't against me. It was against Jordan, and I felt kind of bad. But like,
that's awful.
I mean, like if we're just playtesting and trolling, it's all good. I mean, I'd be salt if somebody did that to me in an actual tournament. I'd be like, really, you're going a little extra right now?
Yeah, but if, salt about it.
Yeah,
probably.
but if we're all friends and stuff, and we're just playing and having a good time, like I'm like, hey man,
he's
you.
That's a monster. That's a monstrous move right there.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I mean, just the fact that this deck,
does nothing. And still wins.
You literally. The Beerus player does not have to attack at all. If they get result of training, they can attack a little bit just to get the pluses, and get rid of pesky 3 drops on your opponent's field. But yeah, it's just amazing to me that because on paper, I'm like, this deck is not viable. I don't think relying solely on the 12-drop Reese, and I still believe that. I think without the 12-drop Reese, this deck is in like the middle of tier 2 country. In my opinion, just
since it has like a powerful late gamer, it brings the deck.
Yeah, or maybe tier 1.5 because once this deck, in my experience of playing it and playing against it, constantly will hit 9, 10, 11 energy consistently every game. So that means by turn 7 or 8, they can drop power card after power card. So it's not just Whis. The deck can still function on its own.
Yeah, they can drop freaking Princess Speeds like they're candy.
Oh my goodness. When I see 4 Princess Speeds on the field because of this deck, it gets me a little salty. I'm not going to lie.
Oh,
and then they have plenty of energy to spare on top of it.
Yeah.
For all the combos.
It's so disgusting.
But I do like the play matchup against it because, if they play objection, because you're going to punish them super hard for using cards out of their hand.
And at that point, they can't afford to not run the objection package, so they're just going to have to deal with the fact that the objection is emptying their hand a lot faster.
Objection's a dead card in their hand against Broly.
Definitely. I definitely think that Broly is good against it because of how proactive it can be against the opponent's hand, as well as advancing the board state, which I think is definitely underrated. But the Beerus deck, I definitely agree with you, Kevin. I was one of those people as well that was just like, this deck is shit. This deck is garbage. Like, I played against
paper,
it.
I'm like, no.
On
no
paper,
way.
this should not work. And then when I've seen it in action, I've seen people play it. I played against it in locals and tournaments, and I've also have played it in playtesting, my own personal playtesting. The Beerus deck is real. It can literally do nothing, and it doesn't have to do anything. And you're just forcing your opponent to be like, well, if you can't kill me by turn 11, you lose.
Yeah, literally, and it's usually less than 11. It's usually like 9 or 10 because they're ramping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and they don't have to do anything. Like Ben said, literally, they don't have to do anything except wait until they ramp.
The Beerus, the leader, is I think one of the best control leaders in the game. But him and Frieza both have the aspects of being able to stall the game very well.
Yeah.
The Golden Frieza, I mean. Both of them do that in their own very unique way of being able to stall the game for their control deck, so they're able to play 12-drop Whis. They're able to make it possible to play freaking Whis and the 7-drop Beerus, and stuff like that. Like, you be able to actually win without actually progressing your board that much. So I feel like the deck in itself is very good. Very good. But I heard that Beerus versus Beerus is very cancerous, and
I'm sure that
the first person who goes
trash.
the person who goes first generally wins.
Yeah, because they're just not going to do anything.
Yeah,
neither player's just going to do anything. It's just going to be like, who can hit 12 energy first, pretty much.
I can't wait to go to that tournament that we were talking about in October to see.
Oh, you're talking about the Star Championships?
The Star Championships in October.
Shout out to Bandai for doing the Star Championships. At least we got something to carry us over until OP season starts.
I can't wait for that. Honestly, I can't.
Man.
I've been waiting for a lot. I've been itching a little bit. We were playing a little bit before the set came out, so we had like a lot of gameplay. Yeah, but I feel like now, since like it's official OP season.
Yeah, especially the fact that we have every card in the game currently. Yeah. Literally, we have every card in the game. Yeah. So we're just we're messing around with it, and then set 2 is going to drop, and I hope OP starts around like January or February, so that way we have time between set 2 and then to like hone our craft, and then that way, we'll be all set for the tournament scene.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Compared to the championship that we're going to go to in October, I hope to see a lot of Beerus versus Beerus decks, and just like laugh at people. Like, this is your decision. You chose to bring Beerus, and this was going to happen. End result.
To be fair, I think that's a solid choice.
I still think Broly's better.
Broly is 1 and Beerus is 1A for me right now. That's how much I respect that deck, to be honest. I mean, that's subject to change, but right now that's how I feel.
So
maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit. I don't know.
You're drinking. Where's the Kool-Aid? You didn't share some? But you're sick.
I mean, I'm diabetic, so I'm trying to cut back, but
fair.
It's a little wild.
So, Matt, what about you? What do you think about the Beerus deck and some of the things it could do?
It's 100% real. Like we said, there's been times where I'm playing as Kevin and he's really just trying to pound on me, and I'm just like, nah.
That's what she said.
I think that was a wrong word choice.
I know.
Hey man, I'm just trying to take it to Pound Town. You know what I'm saying?
He tried to go he tried to go really aggro, and I'm just like, with all this hand advantage, I can just like drop 5Ks like they're candy, so I don't take a life.
You're absolutely right. But hold on a second. Let's go back a little bit, shall we?
Oh, you want to back it up?
We're backing it up. I don't think you're gonna get past that now, Kevin. You just said that you're gonna take Benjamin Kalita to Pound Town.
I didn't say that exactly.
We have recording. We can find it.
And away we go. Benjamin, since you've been playing the Beerus deck, I played it as well, and Jake had a little testing with it, and we played against it. What, in your opinion, is the best strategy to combat this deck? What are you doing as soon as that deck hits the board?
As soon as they reveal Beerus leader, I'm just...
You pack it up?
Don't be sick. It's not Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't be sick.
Depending what I'm playing, which would either be Beerus or Broly, in my opinion, or Champa. But
I think
Champa's good.
I think Golden Freeze is out there as well for me.
All right, shout out. Maybe I'll talk about this next week. My Champa / Vados spam.
Oh, fuck you. No one needs that cancer in their lives.
Yeah, I'd rather not play against that deck. Anyways, Ben, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
My strategy, I felt like I built my Beerus deck a little bit more aggressively. So I'm just going to come in there and kind of like sneak with all the double strikes and try to make sure their board's clear of everything.
I think, so here's another big thing.
Dropping multiple creatures
with
Beerus is very good.
If this game is 2 out of 3 with siding, Beerus is going to hurt the most from people who side against it, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have good sideboards against it, definitely.
Yeah, and it's not going to be good for
Beerus and Broly are going to be hit the most with
They might arguably have the best game 1 in the game, but then games 2 and 3 are really going to be rough for you, because I know right now, myself personally, just because of this Beerus deck, I'm playing 3 Result of Training in my main deck. Strictly because of this Beerus deck.
It gives Kevin that much Dom flashbacks, doesn't it?
Yeah, because literally, if I don't draw the Result of Training, I pretty much lose. I have to draw it like relatively early and get ahead and hope for the best. And usually it works.
You always draw the nuts.
I mean, I heard my top decking game is pretty good. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not.
Pretty good's an understatement.
Pretty good's an understatement. More like legendary status over here.
All right, listen. Don't call me Barney Stinson over here.
All right, we're not saying that. Don't get crazy.
Respect the OG.
Respect the original.
I love me some Neil Patrick Harris. I'm just saying. That's my boy.
You ain't know how I feel about How I Met Your Mother.
That's true. But that's a topic for another time.
Yep. Let's not go there, shall we? I think that dropping multiple creatures against Beerus is very good as well.
I don't know, because, I mean, like, if they're over 4 drops, that's fine. But if they're 3 drops or lower, it's just like, oh, that's cute. I hope you have it for a turn.
I think being aggro against Beerus is always going to be your best bet. You're going to try to pressure the board as much as you possibly can. Play things on curve. You don't need to hold back with a negate or anything like that. You play on curve. Turn 1 play, turn 2 play, turn 3 play, turn 4 play.
Yeah, just hope for the best.
And just hope for the best, honestly. And at that point in time, you want to be aggressive with your combo pieces and try to get them down to 4 life.
Mm-hmm.
You want to push it, so every time you attack, you want to get rid of a card in your hand. Champa's very good at that, pressuring the board. That's what Champa, I think, is the best matchup against. Broly and Champa are the best matchup against Beerus.
Well, I guess I might play Champa out of spite.
Out of spite? That's actually a good call, actually. I might do that, to be honest with you.
Votto spam for the win.
Alright, you know what? We don't need to bring any more cancer to a world that's already filled with cancer.
Yikes.
Alright, let's not go down a route.
That's a lot of sweats.
So, we're going to transition a little bit here to underrated decks in the format. Let's start with you, Ben. What is your underrated deck? Talk to us a little bit about the strategy, as well as what you can do to beat it. as well. Just talk overall.
Yeah,
about
talk
the deck
about
itself.
the underrated deck in your opinion that you're vibing with right now.
Oh, I'm really clicking with the blue, yellow, golden Frieza deck.
It's a good deck.
I'm not sure if it's on the tier list or not. There's
I think it's like tier 1B in my or tier
So
1C.
1.5, you would say?
Yeah, 1.5
It's-
or 2. At
it's
most,
so
tier 2
good
at
at
most.
just plussing from nothing.
Oh, I play that deck, and that deck gives me orgasms.
Yeah, and
The
then,
amount of value talent I get from it.
Wow.
especially since I put people are really hating on this card, but I think it's a great call. The promo Frieza that lets you play a card from your opponent's hand in rest mode.
I play it, and you almost...
What a great card.
Oh, what a blowout. You play that, and attack for your leader, untap, play your other Frieza that you discard to just kill all your guys.
So what the combo that Jake is talking about is
So good,
You're
so
either
good.
doing this when you have 4 or 6 energy. Hopefully you're at 6. And the good thing about this deck is you don't need a ramp at all. You don't need any of the ramp cards because Frieza does all the work for you. So what you do is you play
Super value.
You play the
Super
promo
value.
Frieza, so that's 4 energy, so you have 2 energy in case they have any interaction with you. And then you rip a card from their hand, put it in rest mode, swing at their leader, or the card that they put on the field, and he's a 20k body with double strike, so you're hoping it hits. If it doesn't, you don't care. Sack it off the Frieza's ability, untap 2 of the energy you use to spend on it, then play the Mega Frieza from your hand that has dual attack and double strike. So you just pop the card that you put on their field, another card, and then you swing double strike twice.
This depends on if they're playing red, because if they have open red mana, you don't attack.
I mean, yeah, the Renegade.
The Renegade
punishes
will
you for
it
that.
will punish you if you do that. I feel like the promo, the Terror Mecha Frieza, the one that rips a card off your hand and puts in the rest mode. I think that card is very good. I'm a little upset it doesn't hit negates. Just rip a card from their hand and put it in rest mode. If it's not like a battle card, it just goes to the drop area instead.
That'd be cool. I actually kind of wish they did that.
I kind of
as
wish they
well.
did that. I kind of feel like the not hitting the gates was a mistake. I
Yeah,
feel
the
like
extra cards, yeah.
yeah, I feel like, but the battle cards are still good. I can still rip off Kid Trunks or like any other 10Ks. I can rip them off your hand and put them in rest and like kill it just to be petty.
Yeah, I think what people are like underestimating it as well is you literally see your opponent's hand.
Yes, that's so much
knowledge.
valuable information.
Yeah,
yeah.
like, you know how many negates they have in hand now. You know how many 10k plus ones they have in
And
hand.
you know what they're going to potentially be playing for energy on top of that.
Right, like there's so much value.
You
in that
know
card.
yeah, you know pretty much what either their late game is gonna be or their next turn or what that's gonna look like, and that's very valuable information for a game that relies heavily on tempo. If you out tempo your opponent, you're most likely winning.
Yeah,
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is definitely power.
knowledge is power.
And I feel like the two.
I know those nutty 90s Dare commercials were for something.
Oh boy, those are a jewel to watch now.
Oh, I love them. Is this your brain on drugs and they do the egg thing? Any questions? Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
Say first thing I get that scrambled.
Same, actually.
Yep. I also feel like the 2 Frieza cards that are in yellow are very great at helping yellow come back from behind. I feel like that's very undervalued because the Mecha Frieza, when you discard it and nuke 2 rest cards from your opponent's side, I feel like that card's very good at helping you gain back a footing while also making an impact as well. Dropping that is just disgusting. And then the hand one, you do that kind of little combo that Ben just finished mentioning. That's like you're a resident in Value Town now. You're not just visiting Value Town.
Population one.
You are an official resident at Value Town.
Do you pay taxes at this place? I'm curious.
No, because it's pure value.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
See, exactly.
Oh,
Kevin,
so-
what about
sorry.
you? So what about your underrated deck?
My underrated deck is, I don't know if it's so much underrated anymore because I feel like low key, if you're competitive at this game or trying to be, you kind of know about this leader, and that's the uncommon Goku with the dual attack, and it gains plus 1,000 for every energy you have.
I was gonna put your deck on
Really?
my list, but I had a feeling you were gonna put yours on your list. I was like, I'm not gonna steal your thunder.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about it too, but I'm just saying, like, if you are not realizing how good this is, you should take a look at it. Because this deck, even if they don't awaken you, once you hit 5 energy, you're still 15k. So if they're awakened, you can still hit every turn.
Yeah, it's just going to get bigger every turn goes
And
by,
it's going to
too.
get bigger. I've consistently had games where I'll go to 10 energy because I ramp with Whis. And that means that my awaken side is at 25k double, or not double strike, dual attack. 25k base.
As a leader, you can't cold bloodlust it. You can't do any of that. You can't crush a ball. It's already on the field.
You can negate it.
You can negate it, but I mean, he has dual attacks. You just come back for another round.
Yeah, and the fact that you can dual attack and you don't have to attack the leader. You can attack 2 battle cards if you want to. You can get rid of the board with just your leader.
Yeah, it's so much value. It gives you so much versatility. And I think that's why I hate the deck the most. That's why I hate it the most.
Yeah, what's crazy is a lot of people are talking about the hand advantage with like Broly getting rid of your opponents, Champa just getting you a bunch of +1s, and just kind of ramping up with Blue with Princess Speed. But every time I remember playing against you guys or anybody else, when they ask how many cards in my hand, and I say like 13, and they're like, "Damn, I have like 8," and like you can't really tell where they came from. It's just like it sneaks up on you because you don't really expect it out of.
It's a monster. It's like the Loch Ness monster in my opinion. It's like always like lurking in the water, and then when it rises up and snatches you, then you'll know this deck is serious business. That's pretty much what that.
I feel like low key you called the deck Jason Voorhees, and I'll let it go because I like it. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. I mean, I don't know how to exactly say you would counter the deck. I mean, the deck's not perfect.
It's so hard to counter it.
I think the deck, in my opinion, I built it so that it has a good matchup pretty much against everything, but it's not great against everything.
Yeah, I'm hoping to at least get like a sort of deck list together for you guys so you can actually see what's actually in the deck. But the deck in itself is just... It has a lot of versatility. It widens the board state as well by drawing cards, and it always has pressure every single turn.
It does.
Every single turn, you're getting pressured by this leader. And either you try to kill them before they're able to get to 10 energy, like a 25k dual attack based, or you just hope to have better late game cards than your opponent does.
Yeah, but I sneak right now. I run 1 Beerus.
He's sick.
The 7-drop Beerus, and I run 1 of the 7-drop Goku, the one that his attack can be negated or blocked.
I like that card a lot. I think that card's very good.
Realized in the past few weeks I really underappreciated that card.
Yeah.
And now it's one of my favorite cards, if not the favorite card in the deck for me right now, just because I like it so much and close out so many games. And especially if you're playing against anything that's non-yellow, it's going to go through. So
most likely is a game ender.
Yeah, so it's
for anything that's
30k double strike.
And its attack cannot be negated, and blockers cannot be declared on this attack.
Nope. So
he negates any outs, pretty much. You have to have pretty much out combo it. And most of the time you can't because it's a 30k base against your 15k leader. So you have to match 15k.
So you have to drop at least 2 cards to
match it.
Match it or tie.
This is not if you're probably going to combo with that card anyways. So you have to match a 15k base off the start before you're able to even make a dent at what you're comboing. And that's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost, I like it right now better than the 7-drop beers. Which is, to me, that's insane because when the 7-drop beers, when I read it, I'm like, this card's broken. And when
you play, it's a different story.
Yeah, I think it's easy to play around.
Yeah, it's easy to play around. I still think it's a powerful card. I think that
Absolutely.
if you're not taking any precautions, if you're just going to a tournament without any knowledge whatsoever,
ooh, you're gonna get punished.
You're gonna get punished very hard. But I feel like at this point in time, a lot of people have been playing a lot of games, have been watching, or at least trying to watch as much content as they possibly can. So I feel like players now have a better sense of how to get around Beerus. Because you remember, Beerus was like the first hype card, I feel, in DBS.
It was.
I think that was the first hype card I think we had was the Beerus. No one looked at the Whis, and then everyone looked at the Whis and was like, oh my god.
Yeah, remember Whis was literally like a quarter, like a month ago, right?
Yeah.
It was literally like
no one thought it was viable because it cost 6 blue energy to play it.
Yeah.
Half your energy has to be blue in order to play the Whis.
Yeah, and I think the fact that it was 12 energy, they're like, nobody's going to get to that much energy. Yeah,
and then when someone was able to get that list together.
Yeah. I mean, like, I played it here for funsies, like, before it got hyped a little bit, and I was like, yeah, that can do it.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really realize at the time how consistent it could be, but
I'm impressed. It's crazy and consistent. That's what makes it a threat, too.
Yeah,
I forgot to mention that.
But yeah, I do actually keep that deck in mind, so that's why my deck is kind of fine-tuned to play against it. So that's how I feel about it.
I think that's a smart decision as a player. I think that whenever deck you're building, you want to make sure your deck can combat as much things as it possibly can.
Exactly. I don't want to build a deck with a bad matchup. Like, I don't want to go into the tournament, like I was telling you guys earlier before this. Like, I don't want to go into the tournament and be like, well, let's hope I don't face Champa today. You know what I mean? And like have it like a 90-10 differential on the matchup.
I mean,
I'm not about that.
I mean, for history notices, I've been a control player
Okay.
throughout my entire Magic career before I switched from Magic to DBS. So I am sort of kind of proud about Beerus, about how he's like legitimately a control deck, and is a successful one at that.
All right, let's hop off Beerus's penis a little bit here, and
Wow.
let's what about you, Jake?
1-2 step off his penis. All right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Sierra would be proud. Anyways, Jake, what is your favorite underrated deck at the moment? What do you buy?
You're about to be part of the list, Kevin. I swear to God.
I'm always on the list. Let's be honest.
You make a many appearances. I think the most underrated deck is the Ginyu Force.
Ooh, I like that.
Baby, the Ginyu Force is Value Town. Value Town. Oh yes. Yellow. That deck is the only deck that can advance its board state efficiently. Because if you play Golden Frieza, one of the main reasons why, one of the biggest weaknesses I think with the deck is that it can't progress as well as the other decks, board wise.
It gets you a lot of pluses in hand and energy,
but
the boards are usually kind of small.
Yeah, your boards are generally small, and if you don't know how to deal with that skill wise, you are gonna always lose.
Yeah,
and that's what was one of the biggest weaknesses in the Frieza deck. Is one of the biggest weaknesses of that deck. And I feel like the Ginyu Force, it kind of negates that a little bit. It gives you +1s in your hand. It gives you +1s on board as well. It doesn't give you the energy ramp that Golden Frieza does, but I feel like Ginyu Force is a lot more relevant to the game right now. To be able to progress your board state as well as give you card advantage, which is kind of like the dream, to be honest. And then dropping the super rare Ginyu, the rare Ginyu, clean it up, wrap it up. You can't beat that. You really can't. If I have these like 4 Ginyu Force members on the board and him, you're done.
The thing with that is you're playing Ginyu or bust.
Yeah, see that's been
the
my
problem
experience
I had
as
with
well.
the deck.
Yeah, that hurts me too because like I tried it too, and then I realized I was like, wow, yeah, this deck really only works 100% if you have the super Ginyu with a board, and I mean it's devastating, and it definitely can close out games, but just relying on that is tough, I feel. And I feel this is one of those hard decks to mix with other colors because you want to have as much Ginyu Force as you can just for this whole strategy. I will say, though, I do like Ginyu as a leader because I'm a fan in this game of any leader that can cut your life, which I think is
being able to awaken
the fact that he can advance the board state by just revealing a card from your life.
Yeah.
He can advance the board state, or you just put it to your hand. You're giving your opponent knowledge, but you're getting the card draw.
Yeah,
and if you see it, it's Ginyu Force, you're putting it right to play. Right to play.
Yeah,
right to play. And I think that, honestly, I feel like what negates what you guys were saying before is that even though you have to advance your board state in order to make the deck effective, you can give yourself enough time with the blockers you're having. And you're also being able to, give yourself at least a decent amount of time to be able to develop a board state while also not taking any damage or having anything risk your board state. I feel like what kills it the most is Vados. Vados nerfs that deck off the fucking map, in my opinion. It's like a snipe shot. Doop! Dead. That's it.
Yeah, Vados is very good against yellow.
Vados is very good against the game.
If they don't have a response to Vados, it's very good.
No, where he's talking about the leader.
I'm talking about the leader in general.
Vados.
The leader. If someone's playing a Vados deck and you're playing Ginyu Force, good luck, buddy.
Yeah, you're in for a rough time.
You're in for a rough time. The super rare, you have to play a totally different strategy. You have to rely on your leader, and when it flips, you just do the double strike, and you have to rely on your leader just to kill your opponent.
I mean, I do think, though, that Golden Frieza overall is the best leader in deck in yellow, though.
I feel like if you're looking from fundamentally wise, I feel like yes. Golden Frieza is the best.
And it's arguably the most rewarding to play.
It's +1s, but you also gotta be careful. Yellow filters itself out very quickly, and with additional with blue, blue for Golden Frieza, you're gonna be decking yourself out quite frequently.
Yeah, that's why we don't even run the booze in the build, right?
Nope.
Oh, that's so bad. When you have to stop running booze because you have too much card filter.
I literally would deck myself out. And I'm like, this is insane. I'm like,
and then you draw a late game and you're like, huh.
Interesting.
There was games where I would deck myself out and I would have the +10 combo, +1 draw, and I couldn't play it or attack with my leader because I had no cards in deck.
Yep, that's the worst when you can't attack with your leader.
I'm like,
I remember there was one game where I had to plan around you when I knew I couldn't attack with my leader, but I had the 2 10Ks in my hand anyway, so I just went balls to the wall.
Hey, sometimes you gotta go for it.
Yeah, sometimes you do gotta go for it. I do think that fundamentally, like Ginyu Force, it should not be. It's like tier 2 for me. It's like tier 2.0. It's like reaching the 1.5 status. I feel like with more yellow cards that come out,
Or just
especially.
Ginyu Force cards.
Or just more Ginyu Force cards
Yeah,
that
hey.
just be better what they have. I feel like they will get better because the ones that we got right now is subpar than what they can.
I
be.
think some of them are pretty solid.
Some of them are yeah, of course. Like the Barter, I'm a very fan of. The
Birder, yeah.
Birder, when the one you can untap him
At the end,
at the end of your end step, I think that's a lot of value. I also think Jeese is very good.
I like
Jeese
Jeese.
running the
Jeese would
Ginyu
be
package.
better if you could get the effect off the Captain Ginyu power, though, because it says you got to play it from your hand, which is a little...
I mean, that'll be too much pluses at the end of the day. You know that'll be a
Is
little
it?
So I'm
But you're
netting
only
a life,
searching the top
right?
3 cards.
So I'm netting a life to reducing my life total, so I can be waking much
I mean,
faster.
no, I understand what you're saying, but at
Right.
the same time, I feel like, in retrospect of the game, I feel like it wouldn't have, put it over the top, to be fair. I think it would have been cool.
Well, what if they're ruling for something down in the future? What they're trying to do?
Well, that's a whole can of worms.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So, I
Yeah.
feel like maybe they're doing this right now just to save what they can do in the future.
Oh, maybe. I mean, there's
They're
definitely going to be
just
other
doing
cards.
this.
I feel like we haven't seen the last of these decks that we're playing in set 1. I feel like they're going to get love at some point in future sets.
They're
So I hope they do it.
They're gonna get some support in like some of these non-tribal cards.
Yeah,
Like just good and just generically in the color.
I am a little afraid, though, that eventually they're going to make leaders that are just better than another leader. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like their
why-
stats are going to be 15k on the front side and like
no,
20k
not even
on
that.
the back.
Not even
They
that.
shouldn't do. I really hope they don't.
Yeah,
do that.
I don't think they should do that either. But I'm just saying, like, let's say, I don't know. I'm not saying this would happen, but for example, if you're playing Champa and it says, "Oh, draw a card" when they attack with a 15k or higher, what if there's another leader that says draw if you have a 10k or higher? You know what I mean?
Bye, Champa.
Yeah. Would you even play Champa at that point? I mean, depending on what the Awaken side does, of course. But I mean, at that point, it's like
I mean, that's pretty fair. I
I hope that doesn't happen, but I feel like eventually that it kind of has to happen just because of card game progression.
Yeah. When you see in card histories in general, when you see the older cards, and like some of the older cards are like pretty broken, and then they learn from their mistakes, or the older cards are just trash, and then you see the cards now are just better. So there are some cards that do the exact same thing certain cards did in the past, but they do it twice as better just because they have like one additional effect, or like
Exactly.
they'll have like something else, or their stats are just really good to a point where you have to play them in a certain color.
Yeah, I mean, I won't mind if it's like set 6 or 7 and set 1 cards are, obsolete. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But I feel like that shouldn't happen in like set 3 or 4. I feel like that would not be healthy.
Yeah, they shouldn't also be prevalent in every deck either, like they were in
Right.
the last game.
Yeah, like staples and stuff. Yeah. I mean, there's not many staples in this game besides I would
The
argue
10k
that
plus ones
the 10k plus
and
ones.
negates.
Negates are arguably staples too, I think. You're right. So I feel those cards are pretty much staples, but they're even arguable. Like the negates anyway. The 10k drops, I feel like everybody should be playing those. Honestly, a 4 of.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times when it's not very good, but that might be part of the discussion when we talk about next.
So I'm gonna say one thing really quick. I want to
Okay.
spark someone's interest. Vegito coming out next set.
Should we talk about set 2 next
Would
week?
you be able? I mean, I want to get a good chunk amount of cards so I can get the understanding of what the set's gonna look like. I will scour the website soon and check out and see if there's any new cards that have been revealed. But I feel like with the Vegito's effect, you can play. I mean, can't you play just all the color 10Ks?
It
If
looks
that's the
like
case.
right now that every Son Goku and Vegeta card in your deck counts as a red, blue, or green. That's what it looks like, and that includes your hand and the energy zone.
So with the Vegito is colorless, or is he?
He's actually
red.
red.
He's red.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel we should talk about set 2 maybe next
Oh,
week just to
God.
see what not even the card specifically that's revealed. We can, but I'm just saying we should add what we want out of set 2.
Yeah, I think that's definitely very viable. I think everyone's all excited for set 2.
Yeah, for
everyone
sure.
wants it to be like the best it can possibly be because the game shows a lot of promise. The mechanics are very sound and clean.
Mm-hmm.
The leaders, there's no definite leader. There's no definite winner. I think there's like
I don't
there's
think
tier
so either.
decks, but everyone has a chance of winning and losing.
Exactly.
And it really does depend on your skill and what have you played in the past.
Skill
and anything along
on
those
the
lines.
draw.
Yeah, skill and look at the draw. Yeah.
I feel like there's a few things that are RNG, but compared to other card games, not that much.
Yeah, I mean, like I never for this game so far. I never really got mad at the game itself.
Yeah,
With the mechanics. Like I never got mad. Oh, I lost because of this game mechanic. It's so stupid. Like in Magic, I lost play attempts because I got mana fucked, and that's just the way
this
the way the
game
game
take
works.
care of that.
That's just the way the game works. But in this game, I never really had that sort of problem. Like, I didn't really have sort of that problem with like the mechanics or anything like that.
And I feel like people can't get too mad when you draw like your 1 or 2 ofs in the deck, because the way that
Probability works, yeah.
Yeah, the way that every deck works, like you have some draw power, whether it be just from your Awaken side every time you attack, or just cards in your deck, or a combination. You are going to see those power cards at some point in the game. So, like...
Yeah, we always see it.
Whether you can play them or not, you're still going to see them.
Yeah. Right. So, like, you might see them early game, and you're just like, well, I have the 7 drop in my hand. I guess I got to wait till turn, like, 5 at least. Which,
or play it as an energy,
I mean,
and just bite the bullet.
exactly. That happens to me all the time. I mean, you can recover from that stuff, which I think that says a lot about the game in general. You don't... your hands aren't totally screwed, because for example, when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot, there was times where I would draw my 5 cards and I'm like, this hand's unplayable. There's no such thing as that in this game, honestly. Or if you are drawing hands that are unplayable,
I've seen some pretty trash hands, but I understand what you mean, though.
I feel like you're just either super unlucky, or
it's just the way to draw and the way it was working.
The way your deck is built is you're probably running too many high drops. But I mean, I don't know for sure, but I just feel it's more unlucky than anything else.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. We wanted to talk about one more thing before we go. We have been talking for about 40 minutes now. I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of our voices now.
I don't know. I think mine's suave, very smooth.
All right, just because 2 people in this room told you that your voice makes me want to go to sleep.
Update.
Does it mean?
Update. I was not one of those people.
Update. Neither was I.
False information. Jake, are you fake newsing right now?
I'm not Fox Newsing you. I'm sorry.
Wow. Anyways,
so we wanted to talk about mulligans, and we wanted to teach a lesson to the kids out there who want to get better at the game.
You mean all 3 of them?
Shut up!
I feel like it's more grown men than anything else.
All right, you're absolutely right. I'm talking about for the rookies, for people who want to get a general idea of what's good to do and what's bad to do, who needs that sort of direction if they want to get into the tournament scene.
Yeah, in our opinion.
In our opinions, listen up. So we're talking about mulligans today. What to put back, what to keep, generally speaking. We'll talk about some scenarios, some random scenarios that we have of our personal experiences to give you sort of an idea. And you guys will go from there. So, Ben.
All right.
Stage is yours.
Now, I got made fun of so much.
Woo! I knew you were going to do this. I knew it. You're going to put us on blast.
Yeah. I'm exposing both of you.
How could he pass a chance to expose someone? Am I right, Kevin? Low 5.
Yeah, low 5.
So,
yeah, call me Benny.
When I mulligan, I look to see how many negates and 10K plus ones I have in my hand. Those all go back immediately.
Ooh, that was a controversial statement, Ben, I bet. The internet is flaming you right now.
Yeah, I know. The internet's like, kill Ben. Anyway.
Is that a movie? Anyways, I'll continue.
Probably.
Yikes.
But the reason why I say this is because I don't want to see those cards early game. That 10K plus one is really good in my hand, yes. Not right now. Not turn 1 through 4. No.
Yeah.
I'd rather see those cards late game. And, I mean, people are always like, Ben, you threw a negate away. Yeah, I don't want it right now. That's why I put it back in the deck.
Yeah, I can't explain to you guys how me and Kevin flame this man on a regular basis for him doing this, but when me and Kevin try it out ourselves, it's actually pretty sound, because you get those negates at a time you need them. You know, not early game where you have to be like, well, I gotta play for energy because my hand's too good. Like, that happened to be plenty of times.
Yeah, I mean, negates in general and the plus 10K 1-drops, I do understand why you want those later game, because in a sense, the way I used to look at it, so when I first started this game, I was just like, okay, anything higher than a 2-drop, I put back. That was my strategy back in the day. Because
I think 3-drop is the highest you can keep. It depends on the card.
I don't even keep 3-drops because I feel I want as many live cards in my hand as possible, and I want to draw those cards late game, which is kind of what I incorporated from you, Ben, what you said a few weeks ago. And I've been incorporating it for the past like week or so, and I'm like, that's pretty sound, because Broly will punish you. Other decks that don't attack and just want to play the stall game will punish you, because at that point you kept the plus 10K plus ones in your hand and the negates for basically no reason.
Yeah, those
cards are dead cards in your hand.
Those are dead cards until you. Yeah, those are dead cards in your hand for a couple turns.
Yeah,
you're risking putting yourself behind by just keeping those 10Ks.
Yeah, even the negate is like, it's okay sometimes, but realistically, what do you really want to negate turn 1 through 3 or 4?
Yeah, if you're gonna use your negates early game, those are one less negate you're gonna be needing for late game, and that's pretty much how I thought about it. And I was like, this makes perfect sense, especially with the probabilities of DBS and how often you see those cards. Like, I dump like 3 negates back, and I will see those 3 negates right when I need them to. And it's almost consistent with the deck and how chances work out. It's almost consistent enough to like be able to like predict what will happen and stuff like that.
I also put blockers back too. If I'm running blockers in my deck, I usually don't. I usually side them, but there's a couple decks where I do main deck them, and I put most of them back, to be honest. Just because I think I'd rather see the blockers late game, just so I can, like, say I have 7 energy and I play like a 3 energy card, and I have like 4 energy open. I'll drop 3 1-drop blockers,
and then just save that last energy for a negate.
Yeah, so like I set myself up. I'm like, I'm definitely surviving this turn unless my opponent just. I don't know.
Plays 2 Pierces and you're done.
Well, I mean, things happen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But I mean,
right.
you can definitely prepare for the next turn, and I feel like that's one of the best ways, especially if you're playing like yellow and you drop the 3 1-drop blockers like Goldo or Sorbet, for example.
I generally keep Krillin as an energy for my Broly. My Broly's
I'm gonna be honest.
To be honest,
I'm a little greedy when it comes to playing cards for energy. There are some cards in my deck where, well, besides the Gotoku deck, I actually just got to the point where there's literally only 2 cards in my deck where I'm like, this is energy no matter what, pretty much, because I'd rather 90% of the time play another card instead of that card.
Training after you awaken.
Well, yeah, there's results of training after you awaken.
Yep.
But there's also the 3-drop Vegeta that has critical. I actually use that as energy a lot now.
I know why.
Because I do like the card and I do like the critical effect. But
it's almost always in the gate. It's almost you're putting yourself behind for. You almost always will expect for it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel there's better cards to play when I usually have it. So especially if I get a first turn, I'm like, well, this is an energy right away.
So since we have been talking about for a while the negative aspects of what you shouldn't keep for your hand, Ben, what do you think players should be looking for in their opening hands?
It honestly depends on the deck. For example, I would say, let's say Champa, for example, I'm going to keep any Kabas in my hand. 1 or 2.
100%.
1 or 2. If you have 2, that's godsend. I generally don't draw those early game.
I'm going to be honest. If I draw a 4, guess who's keeping all 4 for that game?
Yeah, that's a value tally. Holy shit.
And you would also keep any 15k you have in your hand for turn 2. And so you can just like get the ball rolling. If you can't do it turn 1, you have to keep sculpt to hand that if you can't get their turn 1, you get their turn 2.
Yeah.
Right. I think honestly, your best case scenario is to keep cards that are live, and then I would say like 1B is like a good first turn play. So if Champa is going second, Kaba is obviously the best turn 1 play in my opinion, because you get it 1 off your life and 1 for the draw, and you double strike your opponent. So I think that's the best turn 1 combo. So you want to have either the 1-drops like Kaba, or you want to have some sort of draw like Majin Buu, or some sort of search like the little Broly, little Goku, or little Frieza. All those cards I think are like very optimal turn 1 plays. So that's really what you want in your opening hand. So I don't know, but I just always live cards. That's what I want.
That's the one rule that you generally would want to. Because you're able to give your late game a lot of promise if you're negating, or if you're putting back all these cards, so these deck cards that are powerful in late game. Like for Broly, for example, if you draw your opening hand and you see Paragus, and you don't see a Broly's Ring, you put that Paragus, you keep that card.
Yes.
Even if you draw Broly's Ring, because then you can just play as energy.
I agree.
Like if you search for Baby Broly, Broly's Ring, and Paragus, and that's generally the 3 cards you'd be looking for. Nothing else you don't need. Nothing else you don't need, honestly. Everything else is just viable. Well,
there's one thing I wanted to say.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, the surprise for us.
Surprise. Yeah,
what you got for us?
All right, so guys and gals, usually I write like little notes for myself for the podcast, just like the topic, so I like can kind of think about them when I'm going down the route, and I usually tell you guys not what I'm gonna say, but like what I'm kind of thinking in a sense. But this topic I kind of wanted to say because I feel like in the community and in almost every card game community that I've experienced, there's always those people that take locals and small events like it's the cream of the crop. And I understand that there's no OP season right now, and there has been locals and like little events that have been like 30-40 people, which is great for a game that's in its infancy, in my opinion.
Well, that's great.
I agree, but you shouldn't put yourself on top of the mountain because you're winning locals. Don't get me wrong. I think that you should cherish every win you get, and you should celebrate all your victories. But when it comes to just overall who's the best player in the game, I think there is no best player in the game right now. There's no regionals right now. There's no nationals. There's no worlds. I feel you should always look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben? How do you feel about that?
I feel that we're all on the same playing field until OP hits.
Yeah, it's just
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, sure. There's like people have been winning their locals and stuff, but like, I mean, if you're playing with somebody who like half the people there don't even know how to play or like beginners, like, why are you talking about this? You know what I mean? Like I said, you should cherish your victories and appreciate them, but you should also learn from them too and kind of take it with a grain of salt.
For me personally, as a player, I generally the only way I like to celebrate my victories is generally like if someone made me salt during the game and then I did something to get them back and I won on winning the game, and then I start feeling like proud of the win.
You should feel proud.
For me, I feel like I generally don't like to get that to my head too much because I already know if I get like a couple compliments my way or whatever, it goes straight to my head. Like I know that for a fact. Yeah. So I personally, what I'd like to do is like, if I win, sure, yeah, that's a win. Like that's pretty much how I look at it. Yeah, it's a win.
Exactly.
And then for me personally, like when it comes to a loss, like I take that more seriously than I do a win because losses give you
always learn something.
Yeah, the losses give you the most information. A win generally doesn't give you the most information, depending on what the game situation is. But generally, every loss generally gives you information of what you can do and what you can improve on as a player. Like, I have just started playing other decks after Broly, and I'm getting my ass kicked every day. every day, because I don't know how to do certain matchups with Frieza, I don't know how to do certain things with Champa, I haven't like really got on all the intricacies yet. But each loss, telling you right now, is making me a stronger player, and I think that everyone should take that into consideration and not let these locals get to their heads, into their egos, and then everyone will. And then the funny thing is, people let that get to their heads, and then they don't go to tournaments. They'll just be like F&M heroes or something like that. Like they'll just like they'll just stay there and be like, yeah, I'm the proud champion of my local, but you don't is that what all you're doing? Because I'm trying to get money. I'm trying to be competitive. I want to get there.
Yeah, I want to be the champ.
I want to be best.
I want to be
the very best. Doo-doo-doo. That's me.
I'm pretty sure that was copyright infringement.
I mean, wrong anime, but I respect it.
You're right. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I mean, that's the whole goal for me, especially. I want to be the world champion. Like, that's the
goal.
Number one.
That's the goal.
This is a card game, and a card game in its infancy. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to play casually. Like, I do take it relatively serious. I mean, like, if I lose, it sucks, but I'll get over it. But at the same time, I play to win. Yeah, which I feel like everybody in a sense
feel that's
does.
a good attitude to have, but like Jake said, letting it go to your head is bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think
you have to know how to actually adjust to the win more than you should adjust to the losses.
I mean, I got back into card games, I don't know how many years ago now, maybe like 6. And I was green because like I haven't played card games before that until I was like, I don't know, 15, 16. So I was green and I was letting local stuff get to me, and I realized how far back that would push me because I would be like, oh, I wouldn't be hungry for that win. And I think that's a key, that people got to be hungry and appreciate the wins and learn from it, but you need to focus on the next event.
You hear that, fans? Stay hungry.
Stay hungry.
Stay hungry.
And if you are hungry, grab Snickers.
Free advertising.
And at that note...
Please, Snickers.
And at that note, we're off. I'm the Jake.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Ben.
Stay tuned for another episode next week. Somehow, some way, come back. Don't come back. Well, come back.
I hope so.
I guess so. All right, guys. Have a lovely night.
Yep. Later.